So it's Thursday evening, and we are about to start the Momentum campaign this Sunday, and that's going to play out for you as a community group leader this week. You are starting week one, and I'm just looking forward with excitement and anticipation. And I just had a couple of words I just wanted to give you to think about this week as you're going into your studies with your groups. First thing I just wanted to say is, as I've just been praying for you as community group leaders and people in community groups, this is just a real opportunity to hear from God. And I think we can get lost a little bit in the hoopla and all the buzz. I'm sure you're getting a million emails and notices about Momentum. At the core of this, we got to truly hear from God. And I think there's a diversity of things He wants to say to us. And I'm just praying for each of you that you would clearly hear His voice. And that's my exhortation for you going into this is there is a weekly solo guide for Momentum. And it's a cool opportunity because we're just asking all the groups in our church to be in the same verse, same question, same prayer for probably 5 minutes a day. And I think just getting everyone thinking about that together and trying to hear from God together is so good. And as a group leader, I just want to say to you, you take time for this. It can be easy to be so busy as a group leader, and as many of you are working, you're home with kids. There's so much going on, but take time for God this week. Hear from Him. Make space to not just answer the questions, but to really listen and hear from God. And as you pray for yourself and for your family and for your group, I think that will lead to a much more effective group. And I just say then take that spirit and go into your group with that same spirit. And what I mean by that is I think it can be easy to come in and feel the pressure to have all the answers and to be this know-it-all in our groups. And I'd just like you to let go of that pressure. What I'd like you to do is to come in prayerfully to your group and be ready to pray as people ask questions, to pray for people in the group as you're wrestling through things. And as you're working through stuff as a group, try to let the Lord lead you. As scriptures come to your head, think about that, measure it, and say, is this a good thing to even take our group to? Is there things that God would want us to hear as a group? And I would just urge you to do that first. It's easy to have fear and worry that you don't have it all together, and we don't expect you to have it all together. We want authenticity here, not just fluff. And so be authentic, answer what you know, and then really point people to God. The second thing I just want to do is highlight what are we even doing in discussion this week. And there's really two things that we're really focusing on. First is we're checking for understanding. Do people understand what God's vision and mission for His church is? Do people understand what God wants for this church? What is that? And so the first couple questions are really going to focus on that. And then the second is, are we as a church measuring up to that? That's 2A. Are we as a church following God's vision and mission? Where are we doing well? And inevitably, no church is perfect. Where are we off? And then 2B, I guess you could say 3 questions, but I'm just trying to fit it into 2, is do we personally fit into that? And so the later questions in the discussion this week are talking about, are we individually and as families hitting fully on the mission that God has for the church, and where are we off a little bit? And so I think it should be a time of both vision and then introspection of where we're at. And so as you go into that, my just prayer is that you guys have rich conversations to go deeper than the questions. Don't be afraid to ask follow-up questions as God leads you, and to press deeper into your group and just see where God has them. And inevitably the gospel is not that we have this all figured out. We don't. The gospel is that Christ came into our broken lives, and we are in this process of redemption where God is doing a work within us, and it is not done yet. And so this is not a place to hide and pretend that everything's perfect and somehow feel the pressure that we should be perfect Christians. No, we are being made holy right now. And so we as a church need to be listening, however, to what God wants for us next and walking in that. And so I just I'm praying for you guys this week that would be what comes out in your groups. And as always, don't be afraid to ask questions. to talk to your coaches if you need help or don't know something. Go to the website. There's so many resources. If there's a quick question that you think that someone should know, the website has probably most of them. Go to graceb3/momentum. And get a hold of me. Don't be afraid to reach out. I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. So my prayers are with you guys this week as you go out, and may God move mightily through us this week.